We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by. Rachel's
I forgot Rachel's not here. It threw me off.
not here. Same,
I'm
it
Blazy
happens to me all the
Gardner.
time.
And I'm Bridget. You can
It
find me
doesn't.
at
What?
ko-fi.com/punkybrewster. That's PUNKY BRUISETER. And now you can continue.
Sorry. It's and Bridget just doesn't have the same. Like it doesn't land the same when there's only one person introducing themselves before you.
I'm inclined to agree, actually, in a weird way. It's still funny, but for a different reason now. And we're here to talk to you, at you, maybe in the chat. If you're here with us live, I did not promote this beforehand because today was a very interesting day. About
Yes.
Earth Abide's third episode of its inaugural season titled World Without End. And I just want to start this off by saying only one thing and then we'll go to housekeeping. Or house. Is it housekeeping? Oh man, I'm out of it. Everybody in this household's getting sick right now, by the way. So, as Bridget was watching this episode, she set up a little spoiler thread in our Discord. And if you want to join our Discord, you can tip us and you'll have access forever to it. And obviously, if you join a membership tier, you'll get different levels of access in our Discord, which is very handy and lovely. And I think you should think about that. But anyway, she set up a spoiler thread in Discord and she said, "Oh, I just gotta love this episode. Oh, God, it's so much. I even cried at one point." That's not how you sound, but in my head, that's how you sounded. And I was robbed your sweet, delicious laughter and gasping in this moment right now with you paused.
No.
With
I
muted.
was trying to look. I'm trying to look something up that's critical to the background information I would like to give about this story.
World Without End.
About this story, period. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. This turned it around for me. This episode turned it around for me.
You were like, "It's okay" last week. And this week you're like, "What's wrong?" You're like the Tasmanian devil.
I kept looking at the time, being like, there can't possibly be much more that happens in this episode. Because it was just like, things happen. Yeah, but in like a good way.
I see what you're saying. Okay, well, good. Well, we're going to get into that with the fervor. In case you're listening and not watching, because I don't know that the titles will be. No, the titles will not be in the replay of this. Well, in the replay on YouTube, it will be. But Sharon D's subtitle is, I think it's an asterisk Team Mountain Lion. Is that what it is?
It's a hashtag.
It's hashtag.
Oh, it's a hashtag? Oh, okay. So it's really small on my end. So that's another opinion that we'll get into in just a second. But the only housekeeping I have for now is the fact that many of you have not donated to our penny raffle for a lean relief charity / giveaway. The charity is to render aid to both residents and pets of Western North Carolina who've been devastated by Hurricane Helene. They need monetary aid more than anything else right now. And we're here to provide it in some meager way. Hopefully it's in a significant way. I would like that for us and you and the residents of Western North Carolina.
May I speak for just one thing? I just took a tour this past Saturday in Chimney Rock. Chimney Rock was literally destroyed. There is nothing left of it but a few buildings. And I mean, most of it was completely washed away. So this past weekend they did a festival to celebrate Chimney Rock. The vendors, people that had businesses down there set up as vendors in this park, and everybody came to buy things from them and donate to them to help them. And they also gave tours of Chimney Rock, bus tours. We couldn't get off the bus, we couldn't explore, but they drove us into Chimney Rock and we got to see what they've been working on. So basically Highway 6474 ran through Chimney Rock from my county to Asheville and Hendersonville, and the road 6474 is gone. It does not exist anymore past a certain point in Chimney Rock. They drove us to the end of the road, which used to be a restaurant parking lot. That is now the end of the road in Chimney Rock. It does not exist past that. Everything that was there, every house, every building that was north of that spot is gone. It now sits at the bottom of Lake Lure. The tour guide there when we went said that the lake used to be 85 feet deep. The lake is now 20 feet deep. Everything that was in Chimney Rock now sits at the bottom of Lake Lure. Homes, trees, some people, anything that was there. So when I say devastated, like I can't even put into words how absolutely devastated it is there. Some people were lucky. Their tour guide was one. Their house was still standing, but like the businesses that were there, Chimney Rock State Park, you can't get into it. The bridge going into the park has been washed away completely. The entire riverbed moved. The river used to be about 40 feet wide. It's now 60. It just completely washed away the banks and everything. So
pushed it aside, basically.
Yeah, it washed it all down into Lake Lure. It's all laying in Lake Lure now. Lake Lure is still really there's boats laying on the side. It's really filthy. You can see trash floating in it, debris floating in it. So when I know that news has pretty much stopped covering North Carolina, other things have happened, I understand, but that doesn't mean it's not still needed here. It's needed desperately. They have moved in several dozen homes have been moved in for people to move into, but they still need help with money, and they've asked people, please stop sending food and clothes. They have that. People have donated so much of that they don't know what to do with all of it. But when it comes to building flat places to put houses and running wires and rebuilding the infrastructure, because the infrastructure of Western North Carolina does not exist anymore. It's gone. There's places in Asheville. It's still just devastated. You can't drive down there. That doesn't mean Asheville's not up and running. It is. You can go to Asheville and do things, but there are still parts of it that are just devastated. Up in the northern counties, up above Asheville in the northern towns, they have some of those places have one road that goes to them, one road in and out, and those roads have been washed away. And they're mountain towns. You can't land helicopters. You can't land planes. They are right now taking donkey and horse caravans up into the mountains to take supplies to people and toys to children. So that is what we are trying to help here. This is not anything that benefits us. Even though I live in Western North Carolina, I was not personally affected by it other than it's around me. So this doesn't benefit us. This is to help these people that at Christmas time, at winter, are suffering and need help. So
especially now.
We're taking the initiative to help, to give you guys a reason, an impetus to donate. You get something out of it other than just feeling good because you helped people. So please, it's $5 for a chance. We have lots more people coming up that are awesome. So
and we
get
keep
out there,
thinking
folks.
of new people to include, by the way.
I do want to mention too that although the state of North Carolina is considered quite temperate climate wise, this is a mountainous region, and winter is no different there than it is in a lot of other northern states. So it does
It's
get
already
quite
snowing
cold.
there. It's already
Yeah.
snowing in the high mountains.
And so for these people who have lost their homes, this is like this is going to be a really hard season to make it through.
Mhm.
So just also keep that in mind. This isn't like, it's not like you could just camp out the rest of your time. It would be really hard. It would be super hard.
I was in Asheville 2 weeks ago doing a delivery, and Asheville is in a lower echelon of the mountains, but it's still in the mountains. But I could see where I was standing looking up into the high mountains. I could see snow clouds putting snow down up there. And also I drove through Burnsville and Spruce Pine, which were also really badly affected. They had a lot of flooding damage. The town of Micaville is gone. It also was washed away. It's snowing there. There's snow on the ground there as we speak. So it is cold here in the mountains. And like I said, so many people are stranded in places that can't be gotten to easily, that's another thing that money is going towards, is helping people either shore up the homes they have there or get them out into somewhere else, because there's no infrastructure, there's no electricity, there's no roads. And if you've never been in the mountains, you don't understand what it's like up here. Like, this is not like a town like on the flatland where you have 5 or 6 different highways coming in. These little towns literally have one road going in and out. And that road gets washed away,
Right.
you can't get to them. If a road 3 miles away gets washed away, you still can't get to them because that was the only road that led there. So there's still a lot of
And to me,
need
that's-
in Western North Carolina.
That's the scariest part for me, is that being disconnected from society and what can happen when that happens and you kind of get a feel for that in this episode a little bit, is how people are probably feeling,
Yeah.
what's going to happen next, who's going to get aid, is aid coming, and it is slowly.
Yes, I
but
mean, there are people there on the ground helping. I'm not saying that there's nobody there.
thank
I mean,
goodness.
just in the video I took when I took the tour, the guy who was doing the tour also said that 65,000 man hours have been donated to help just do everything. Even where I live, where we were affected because we lost power and we had trees down and stuff. Trees are still on the side of the road. Like, you still drive down the side of my road and all the trees are still there. They're still, like, if you can't
Also
get
kinda like in
away
this
from it around
episode.
here. Everywhere you look. Yeah, everywhere you look is reminders of it. You can't get away from it.
Yeah,
and
they
there's
have to
just a lot of people
triage
that still
the
need help.
most affected too. Yeah.
Right.
So to that end, and I will hopefully at some point provide a little compilation of Sharondy's footage for you to actually see the devastation, because you do have to see it. Like
I
we
do
said,
apologize,
we're
y'all.
not-
I had to film from a bus. They didn't allow us to open the windows or anything like that. I literally stuck my phone up on the window of the bus and took videos as we went by. But you can see, if you go to any of my social medias, I do have
Right.
video up of the Flowering Bridge, which was basically, it was a bridge that stretched across the Lake Lure, and it was just covered in flowers and plants, and it was beautiful. You could walk along it, and it was just beautiful, and it's completely gone.
Yeah, you could see that on our Instagram too, because you
Yeah.
collabed us. So yeah,
Right.
if in case you wanted to. But yeah, to that end, outside of eventually sharing a little compilation that Sharondy filmed, the teaser of which you can see from that video she just mentioned about the flowering bridge. Is that what it's called?
The Flowering Bridge, yeah.
Yeah. What you can do, what you will get in return is the following. What you'll want to do is see who we have on offer right now, and you can do that by heading to the pin post on our Ko-fi and Patreon pages, coincidentally. It contains all the folks we've announced thus far. We'll be announcing another person or persons of interest every single day, and we keep signing on more people, and I think we need your help with that as well. If you happen to know somebody who is worth, you think, your time or your money to be able to have a 10-minute live call conversation recorded, because we'll help you with that, and you'll have that forever, you can put in $5 for one raffle ticket towards that person. So you will not be matched with a random person. You'll be matched with the person whom you donated towards, because you'll be writing their name down with every single donation that you make. Now, if you can definitely donate to more than one person, however much you like, in multiples of 5. Every $5 gets you another chance towards winning that person, so that when we spin the wheel, we go by raffle tickets, basically. So if you donated 15, you have 3 raffle tickets towards that person, and so on and so forth. We might even put a leaderboard up so that we can track how much people have donated towards a given person of interest. The only thing that I ask is that when you donate towards one person only. Nobody so far has done 2 names, which is thank goodness. And that's a great question that Leo himself, who donated $50
Yes.
towards Antonella, asked in our Discord, because he had Discord access, because he tipped us on Ko-fi. Like I said, you get forever access, etc. But he asked a great question. Could I donate $50 and have it go towards Jerry and Antonella? And I said, no. You can donate $50 towards Antonella, and you can donate 5, 15, 20, 25, 30 towards Jerry, which, I mean, look, if you've got the money, that'd be great, and that would help a lot of people. But think about that as the days roll on, because may either want to save your money, put a little $5 now and put more money later as people start getting announcing. That's why I say you should get in your $5 on the person you think you want now. And as the days go on and you realize, oh, they're not going to announce anybody I don't want to donate towards, I'll donate more on this person. No, we may end up surprising you by the end, because that's how
It may
we
be a
designed
surprise
this
to us
thing.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Because every day, again, we're getting hit up by more and more people who want to join, who want to come on board. The only thing that I ask from you for now, if you're not ready to give just yet, and the donations are coming in, thank goodness, is if you don't have the funds right now, or if you don't feel comfortable giving the funds right now, please share our social media posts, the reveals. We want you to get as excited as we are about these reveals. We want you to be able to join in the fun of this, because in a dark time, I think we need a little bit more levity. I think we need a little bit more levity. And also, I think it would also help inspire and reach people who have the deeper pockets, slightly deeper even. $5 again is all you need for one person, and then you can spread that out. $5 here, $5 in this person. We did Bailey Gavlik the other day. We did Lynn Collins, who was Leah Shaw on The Walking Dead.
Lynn Collins, guys, they have been trying to get her at camp forever. If you did not have the good fortune to meet her in 2021, at the one time she has done a meet and greet that I managed to get to, then you have been trying to get to Lynn Collins. We got her. We got her to do a 10-minute Zoom call with somebody. Where are all my Walking Dead fans who are crazy about Leah? Come on, guys.
Yeah, and for all you Fear the Walking Deads, we just announced Mo Collins today, and I teased a whole bunch of people on some other folks that we have on tap, because
also,
it's fun to leak things out to people.
Bailey has also donated a sticker and a magnet from season 5.
Oh, magnet.
It's the van. It's the van. It's really
cute. Do you
cute.
mean the magnet that's above my desk for every single recording since she gave it to me?
We have a sticker and a magnet will be coming with Bailey's Zoom call.
Snap. Put that back up there. It still works after all these years, because we've been around for a very long time. Again,
guys,
we got
Mikey Satrazemis. Have you ever wanted to pick his brain and find out how he came up with all these great shots and great episodes and all the fantastic stuff he's done in The Walking Dead? This is your chance to talk to Mikey. Who gets
and you know
that?
What? I just have 4 words when it comes to Mikey Satrazemis that I think some of you will be inspired to donate just for this. Look at the flowers. That was him. That was his episode. That was his first time, I think it was directing an episode of The Walking Dead. And it is among, I think, I think it was on our top 5 episodes, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And Bridget donated.
And for Fear fans,
how better to inspire
he's responsible
others.
for Laura.
That's right, Fear fans.
He's responsible for Laura, guys. One of the best Fear episodes ever.
Yeah, clearly one of the top episodes,
Bridget.
Most memorable. Bridget, who did you donate towards? Mikey Satrazemis.
Who'd you donate?
I left you a private message. So.
Oh wait, I see that it's blank. At least.
Oh
no, it's in the chat right there. It should be there at least.
So
no, I left it private so it wouldn't publish. I wanted it only to go to you, Dave.
Oh,
okay.
You'll see.
Shall we reveal that message?
Yeah. I mean, you can if you want.
We have one coming up, guys, that is not Walking Dead related, which is cool. And to be honest, this is the person that I'm going to be donating towards because I really want to talk to them. But it's if you were a fan of, let's say, some horror type genres from the early 90s, then you're probably going to be into this one.
Oh, my internet's really slow, so I'm not going to do this. Maybe I should.
Okay, I don't know if it's sent. I don't know if it's sent, but I will tell you what it said later.
Well, let's see if I can actually click it.
She wants the Zoom call with me. She wants to sit and chat.
I'm not going to show this.
Yeah, it's
a cop out.
No, it's not.
It's a cop out.
It's nice. It's a nice gesture, Dave.
You did the instructions wrong. It's fine, but it's fine. I love you anyway. It's just adorable. It's a very Bridget thing to do.
Yes, it is. So before we jump into this episode, because while we are very excited to talk about all of this, really why we're here tonight
Oh wait,
is to talk about that.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Because
I was going to explain the mechanics, but I think I already did. Never mind. I'm a little sick, by the way.
You've said that already. Also,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I had played with the idea of reading Earth Abides by George R. Stewart because of us covering this show. I just wanted to see if there was any comparison or what the differences were. I mean, it was written in the 1950s, and I'm sorry, it was released in 1949. And so it's been quite, it's been a number of years, quite a long time.
I thought you said, didn't you say it was released in the late 1800s, about the 19 something?
No.
Or like took place in?
He was born in the late 1800s.
Oh, okay.
George R. Stewart was born in the late 1800s. So
this is wild to think about.
It's crazy. So I started listening to the audiobook because we're good. Okay. I started listening to the audiobook because I have a kind of a long commute to and from work. And so I often listen to audiobooks to and from because it is better for my brain probably than other garbage. And I watch a lot of TikTok, so probably I could use any help I can get. So I ended up listening to it, and it was the version that's up on Audible right now. So you could be listening to this too if you wanted to. I have an Audible membership, honestly, because I can't figure out how to cancel it. So if you know how to do that, DM me.
I got you. Yep.
It's like I can't
I'm laughing.
Get rid of it.
It's like
I'm laughing because I totally empathize because I've got a Hulu one that I cannot figure out how to get rid of.
I cannot figure out how to get rid of it.
Anyway. You do it from the desktop, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I tried. Amazon is one of the hardest things to cancel. They make it like near impossible.
I'm at Hulu, but yeah.
Oh yeah, the Hulu one. No, I've been able to do, but
I can't remember. I can't remember what email it's under. So every time I put it.
Oh.
There you go. That'll do it.
There it is. That's the one.
So
wait, you're saying Audible is like your gym membership? We just have it and.
Yeah, I also have a gym membership I don't use, if you couldn't tell by looking at me.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
So I started listening to it, and it was a version that was released in 2020. So in April of 2020 is when the foreword was written. And it's very interesting because it gives a lot of history to George R. Stewart, but also kind of talks about how like it's the reason they were republishing this in 2020 is because of the pandemic. So because of COVID, they determined that they would re-release this novel, which makes sense. It's not like an interesting choice, so like totally makes sense that you would do that then. So
unaltered?
What's that? Yeah, unaltered.
Unaltered
as written. It goes into a lot of history about George R. Stewart as a whole, which was kind of interesting. As it turns out, a lot of these characteristics of Ish are actually based on George R. Stewart. He went to Berkeley. Like this was kind of like some of this was like his life. Like he lived in California, and he was published during the time in which writing was really happening more so on the East Coast. And like New York City, Washington, D.C. is like really where stuff was happening. So to be published and be a California writer was a little bit unusual. He wasn't known for writing science fiction. And at the time, actually, this book would not have been considered science fiction. It would have been deemed an after the fall novel because that's what they were called at that time. So instead of being a post-apocalyptic dystopian sci-fi novel, which is what it is now categorized as, it originally would have been dictated as an after the fall novel, which was just kind of an interesting tidbit. George R. Stewart is known for writing several books, a lot of which played around a lot with like the narration. Like oftentimes, he's well known for his book, I believe it's called Storm, but it's because it's written from the perspective of the storm, which was extremely unusual at that time to not write.
Especially for this episode.
Yeah. Yes. To not write from the perspective of a person, was like kind of, so he played with a lot of like literary devices that hadn't been played with normally. Anyway, I say all this to say he really set precedents for the literary genre as a whole, but specifically science fiction when we look at these post-apocalyptic dystopian science fiction books.
It's kind of like postmodern writing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool considering the time frame too, because it's 40s, 50s, which is early for that.
Right before Philip K. Dick and all that.
Yeah,
Which is, I think,
yeah.
the
So
60s.
it's interesting. I'm sure he inspired a lot of writers just because this novel did become quite big. Because whereas in the 1950s everything went towards like nuclear holocausts, this was about a pandemic, which seemed much more likely to a lot of people. Kind of is transcends time. You know what I mean? Like we're not always worried about nuclear threats, but we are this is always something that could happen. But
Right.
in his time as an author, he did write another book, surprisingly a children's book, which is a little bit unusual. It was okay.
It was called
Sorry, I did the space bar.
Dying.
No, I did the space bar thing, so it was flipping out on me when I was switching screens. So it was originally called To California by Covered Wagon, and it was published in 1954, and it was reprinted in 1987 as Pioneers Go West. Children's book, kind of like YA novel. Anyway, it tells the story of a kid, 17 years old, named Moses Schallenberger, or Berger. He was on the way to California, on the wagon trail. And anyway, I don't know if this is the name of the actual person or if this is just the name of the character that he like wrote this about. It talks about it in the foreword of the novel Earth Abides, but he did a bunch of research for this book to talk about the wagon trail to California. This kid was left behind, and all he had was like a gun and maybe like a sleeping bag and something else. He had like very little things on his person, and he was accidentally left behind on the wagon trail and survived for a considerable amount of time by himself, which was surprising because nobody at this time had really made it to California. I don't think this is when they were still traversing and exploring to the west. So it is believed that a lot of this character, of this Isherwood character, is based on this real life person.
Of not Michael Schallenberger. What's his name again?
Moses
Schallenberger.
So I thought that was a really just an interesting tidbit to get, that this is potentially Isherwood is based loosely on a real life person, which I thought was really cool. And also I want to give you some clarity to a thing that I had real beef with at the beginning. Because maybe the other people had
the show or the book?
Yes, with the show.
Oh, the show. Okay, yeah.
With the show. Okay, so Ish is at a cabin in the mountains, and we assume that is his home. It's not. It's a rental, baby.
Yeah, I didn't assume it.
I assume that's where he lived.
I see.
I assume that's where he lived. So I was really frustrated by he left, and I didn't understand why he didn't go back. It's in the book. It goes into much more detail about the fact that he's in the mountains. He actually still lives with his parents. And so that's that's the home that he lands in, is because that is the home that he lives in.
The only home. Yeah,
yes.
It's the only home he has.
So anyway, I just wanted I thought that was a nice piece of information to get from the novel that I didn't feel was very clear in the television show.
I think that's a credit. I think to your credit, I think that it wasn't clear enough for some people. And so it's totally fair.
Anyway, that was a very long monologue.
Doesn't mean he can't go back.
So I apologize for that.
If you think about it, he could still go out there. I mean,
he could. I mean, why not?
There's no property rights. It's a communist wet dream. Come on.
Anyway, all of that was to say I am now listening to the book. I'm not very far in. It's already diverged from what we saw.
Okay.
Not a huge deal, but dogs are much more active in the book than
I see
in the TV show. Like there's a lot of dogs, and it kind of talks about this whole dogs that were bred for show like are not
Oh.
doing as well as dogs who are considered mutts, because the mutt dogs still have the skills to be able to live on their own and do what they need to survive, because their legs aren't too short, or they're not like desperate for the care of a master or a mistress, is what
They're
the
not
book says.
right. They're not genetically bred
Yes.
to
So I thought that was
have
interesting
cancer,
too.
basically.
Yeah, but that's also not made apparent in the TV show. So I just thought it was an interesting piece of information. Anyway, I'm trying to get caught up to where we'll be in the TV show so that I can provide a little more back and forth on like what diverges, what stays the same.
I should mention then, I feel bad because maybe I should have started with this. I do not think this is I don't think this is going to be a regular series. I think this is technically a mini series.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's the punchline to this big joke of a thing that you just did. So I kind of feel bad because you're going to go ahead and do this. But if you got this, you got a week, maybe it can happen. How long is typically an audiobook, or how long is this one at least?
This one is 13 hours. And
Oof.
I drive an hour each day. So
Okay.
in 2
hour
weeks.
each way or hour each day?
Each day.
Okay.
So, well, sometimes a little bit more. It depends on what I'm doing, but so I would argue in like 2 weeks I'm gonna have this done.
In the bag.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
We can mention more about the book that you mentioned in our Discord on the side, or I think it was after our recording of Silo, because that was an interesting tidbit that we should come back to at some point. But Sharon D,
I haven't gotten there yet in the book.
I don't want to talk
Once I
about it
do.
now.
Yeah, once I do, I'll bring it up.
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
So Sharon D, I see your subtitles #Team Mountain Lion. Has this episode moved you in any way? In any way?
Yeah.
Just a small
Yeah,
one?
it moved me towards I'm not watching any more of it.
Oh, here we are. The moment has come. This is what was it? The from moment. Was that what we're talking about? Kind of like that, or is
Yep,
it more
pretty
like
much.
nothing really happened?
Pretty much.
Is it the
Well, it's a
gratuitous
combination.
violence?
It's a combination, really, because I was already struggling with this show. Like, I had to force myself to sit down and watch the last episode, and that's always a bad
So when we're
sign. Like when
covering.
I have to, when I have to force myself to sit and watch it, and I'm dreading sitting and watching it. Like, that's a bad sign. And then to throw in the dog. As soon as I saw the dog in the opening credits, I was like, God, the dog's gonna die. And then,
Aw.
so you remember the movie The Revenant? With
I don't.
Leonardo
I've never
DiCaprio?
actually seen it.
Okay, yeah. So same thing. He got attacked by a bear, and it was super graphic. And about halfway through it, I was like, Nah, I'm not watching this. I'm not into watching things that make me feel bad, and this is making me feel bad. So,
Would you
and that's
say
how I
that
feel about this.
scene-
I was already.
Would you say
What?
that the scene in The Revenant was super grisly? I'm Ezra right now, which I hope we get to at some point.
The benefit to The Revenant was at least that was based on a true story.
Right.
But I
don't know, maybe it makes it worse.
That, like, to me, that, like, I know show don't tell, but there's some things that I don't have to see to know that it's bad, right? You don't have to show me this dude getting ripped to pieces by a mountain lion. I know it's a bad thing already.
Would you say that they overcorrected to kind of get people back, maybe because it was kind of slow?
I don't know. Oh, like I said, I was struggling with it already, so this was just kind of the push that was like, I don't want to put any more of my time into this show that I don't like.
That's fair. I'm actually wondering what Rachel thought of some of these moments and whatnot. She's usually the middle path.
I didn't even finish it. As soon as they, like, halfway through the attack on Ish, I just stopped. I'm like, nope.
Oh, you were really close to the end. That was
but I was done. I was like, nope, I'm not watching any more of this. So
I'll just tell you what happens afterwards.
I'm very soft-hearted when it comes to things like that, and those kind of things are just really hard for me to watch.
It's okay. Different strokes for different animals, right?
Well, I mean, I know everyone's like, "Oh, you watch Walking Dead," but it's not the same. It is not the same kind of thing at all.
Yeah.
Plus, number
That's
one,
the
I
difference
liked The
between
Walking Dead.
watching.
It was enough for me. It was enough that I liked it to keep me going through those moments that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But I didn't like this show that much
to begin with. Right. So there we are. I should mention, just so you know, you were at the end, and during that melee, Evie basically yells out, basically speaks for the first time in 14, no, not 14, 12 years, I guess it is. Or is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's 7 years since they met.
I mean, so like, here, so it's things like this, right? I can handle the dog dying, but why did they have to make it so dramatic? Why didn't they just let him die on the couch in his sleep? Why make it so the dog went outside and got smashed under a tree limb and died in the cold by himself? No, I don't want to see that.
That we didn't see, right?
Right. I don't want to see that. So why they could have? I mean, they could have made it easier on the viewers and just said, "Hey, he died in his sleep. He was 15 years old. He was an old dog. You know that happens." But to watch him be out there alone by himself and die in such a terrible way, I don't want to see that.
We'll get to the title in a second, but why don't we stay here for a minute? Because I had thought to ask the question of whether the tree branch was the thing to kill Lucky, or was it maybe the mountain lion? I'm actually kind of curious to know what you think, because it seems clear that it was the tree branch falling.
Well, I feel like if it was the mountain lion, he would have been ripped to pieces. He would have been bloodier than he was. He was the tree. But I mean, like, they went through great pains to show that he was already slowing down, you know. So why was that necessary? It wasn't, like, just to make us feel even worse about life. Like, I don't need that right now. Like, I don't need that. So I just like I said,
at least
I'm
it
just too
happened off
soft-hearted.
screen.
I still had to watch him go find him, which, by the way, I feel like Ish kind of earned that with the way he treats his dog. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
After 7
I'm just
years,
kidding.
still never forget.
I'm just too soft-hearted for that kind of thing, and it just makes me feel too bad. It makes me feel upset and sad, and I don't need that in my life. I've got enough of that in real life. I don't need to watch it on TV too.
I get you. So with regards, okay, so in a way though, I guess there's two things I want to say about that. One is that Lucky, the name, your luck's run out. There's that narrative thing, because a lot of narrative stuff happens in this episode, which is very interesting. And then there's the second thing, which is in a way that Lucky dying in this manner is kind of a grace, because if the mountain lion came a day, if the mountain lion came during the storm, which it wouldn't, Lucky would have been mauled.
So
Lucky would just get up and...
I disagree, because at least Lucky would have gone out doing what he is supposed to do, which is protect his humans, right?
He
would have gone out like a hero.
So you would have been okay with that? In the throes of battle?
No, I still would have hated it, but it would have been better than wandering out and letting a tree fall on you in the rain.
Slightly better. Gotcha. Okay, but I wanted to mention this on the side. I don't know if it's on the side. Maybe there's something more to talk about this, but the beginning of the episode starts with Ish hitting a mountain lion, and I'm going to go as far to say that the mountain lion at the end is the same mountain lion that ran off.
You think this is like Jaws 4 and like it's revenge, just like Jaws 4 Revenge, where the mountain lion remembers him after 14 years and is like, oh, I'm going to come get you now.
Yeah, can smell him in the water as soon as they step in the water.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
There's
Dave, 14 years, but like so many years passed in between there. I'm sorry, it wasn't 14 years, 12 years.
7 years.
Doesn't matter. It's still like it's a long time.
Probably closer to 8, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a super long time.
But we don't know, because here's the thing. There's a couple of things that, again, I don't care either way. It's animals. You know me, a human supremacist all the way. I'm not some postmodern thinker and writer. I don't really do that stuff. What am I, Michel Foucault? Anyway.
Humans are just animals, so whatever, dude.
human supremacists means we're better than them. Get it
Hardly.
right.
Hardly.
That is just your belief, and that is my belief, and it's part
What
of my
is
identity.
Quantify better for me. Quantify better for me.
Would you believe that it's only partially a joke? But anyway, narratively in the show, what's very, very interesting, what's very interesting about this show, and I just want to say this on the side, when I can't believe we didn't mention this in the second episode because we were too busy yelling at each other. When they were patching up Lucky, I got teary-eyed after the rat attack. I got a little teary-eyed. It felt really terrible, and I was like, "Well, I wonder what the ladies would think." If
You were
they saw me
flashing
right
back
now.
to you were flashing back to Rufus.
On Fear the Walking Dead season 6. Yep.
Dave, we finally cracked through Dave's steely robot exterior and got him to leak some coolant through his eyes.
But you know what? I'm just wearing a robot suit. Inside, there's a mushy, yellow-bellied Yankee. Narratively in this episode, what's interesting is there's a couple things that happen, or I think at least the one, and that is when they meet Ezra, they meet Jean, they go out on a mission for the first time, scavenging mission, and they see Roger, who has a name, the Bison, in the road. Ish knows this Bison over time. He knows its movements. He has a name. So it's interesting that the animals and humans that I get from this is that humans are not the apex predator. Humans in the rest of the animal kingdom, Sharondy, because they're animals too, are on an even playing field. And even Ish mentions this at the time, is that, either you make it dinner, it makes you dinner. And so I'm thinking, and I want to add another factoid about mountain lions, is that we all know the thing about raising your arms real high and scaring it, because the thing is about mountain lions is the danger of mountain lions is them acclimating to human populaces or human beings. When they acclimate, they stop becoming afraid, which is why there was a rash of mountain lion attacks in 2007, because people were stupid. Essentially, they stopped being human supremacists like me and started feeding the mountain lions, and so they have to know their place. I shouldn't have said those words.
Look, I'm just saying that any human that thinks they can feed a mountain lion is just asking to get eaten. All right, like that's just like rule them. You go to a national park, they say don't go up to the buffalo. How many people go up to the buffalo and get gored and stomped? They told you don't do it. So I'm sorry, that's not the animal's fault. That is the person's fault for being dumb, and they deserve to get stomped or eaten or whatever happens to them for being stupid. Sorry.
Yep. And you know what? God coined the term suicidal empathy. Oh, the poor animals. We must feed them, all of them. We must save all of them. Not all of them, I say. Not all of them. Probably not most of them. Joke. Again, joke. Well, maybe joke. We'll see.
Look, I love animals. I love animals, but I am not dumb enough to go walk up to a bison out in the wild. I'm sorry, that's just not gonna happen, because while I love animals in Wild Kingdom, I also respect that they can eat me. So
that's the difference.
Yes, so I respect animals
and their ecosystem, right? Because the whole point is that we are on the top of the food chain for many different useful reasons, right? We know how to use tools, we know how to make fire, we know how to use technology to build on other things, to hunt really efficiently, really efficiently. And so when you don't have that, the ball game changes. So here we are. I just want to know what you thought about that. If that passes muster in terms of that mountain lion possibly being the same one from the beginning episode, holding a grudge like Sharondy did after all these years about how
I
was left outside. With
I really don't know like what the longevity of a wild mountain lion is, but I'm fairly sure it's not like that long.
Oh, I see. What if it was Evie's age? You know what I mean? And it was at the fatherhood years or motherhood. I didn't know if it was a girl or male mountain lion.
They can live 8 to 13 years. So there you go.
Yeah, see.
There you go. Undeterred, 13 years. And the minimum is within the time frame that mountain lion exists. Because it was 8 years later that they re-encountered the mountain lion.
Look, again, I disagree with you.
Why I'm saying this, though, only is because it is a good narrative element. You bookend a series. Sorry, you bookend an episode with an element, and you rebook it, and you use the same
Well,
element at
I
the
think
end.
that they are doing that. It's just that what their book ending is, um, Ish, the relationship between Ish and Evie, because I think Ish is gonna die. So they came into each other with a mountain lion, and their relationship is gonna end with a mountain lion.
With her probably acknowledging that in a way, Ish is kind of like it's her father figure. She's yelling for help for her father. I mean, I'm using father figure, but I'm shorthand using father. Let's not get into this debate again about biological. Oh, Rachel's not here, so it's fine.
Oh, I was gonna say that whole storyline it's been done. It was Gary Paulson's Brian's Hunt.
oh,
Is all about a
oh.
bear that attacks that then he it's like seeking revenge.
Well,
it's very weird. It's a very weird
you know what's funny?
narrative, but it's a really good book.
Who wrote it first? Who wrote it first?
Oh, well,
Probably.
I don't know that this was written in Stewart's book, you crazy animal.
Oh, that's a good point. All right. Well, I guess you'll tell us.
Eventually.
So it's safe to say that maybe we might be done with time jumps until the last episode, because maybe the next few will be Ish trying to recover. And I love the irony of, by the way, Molly saying, "Well, it's not been pretty busy in the doctor's office these days." Oh my gosh. Well, it's about to get real busy, Molly. You're going to be spending a lot of time with your male counterpart, which I also acknowledge in this episode. We got 2 Ishes on our hands, in a way, if you think about it. What do you think about that? Similar behavioral traits?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah,
I wasn't
there goes
expecting
that.
that question, David.
I
You
think
gave
that-
us zero prep time for that.
I
weird
think that
thing.
whole thing
We're
was
alive.
like
Here we are.
he was so sure that what he was doing was right, and now in the future they're going to need those medical supplies, and it's going to be proven that he was like, oh, I'm the right and you have to do what I say, but her going to do that stuff is going to end up saving his life. So even though it was
Also another narrative element.
7 or 8 years later or something.
Serendipity, baby. 200. How about 200 bottles? And we could put it in our fridge to keep it long lasting. How about that? Sorry, I'm a little cracked out. I haven't even taken any medicine yet. This is just pure fever brain right now. I'm toasting as we. No, I'm kidding. I got the chills. Anyway. Did anybody catch the title sequence, or did you skip again?
No,
No, I
actually, I
watched
watched it.
I watched it because they showed the
Ow.
dog first thing, and I was like, well, the dog's going to die.
Here's what you should look out for. Anyway, I'm sorry. Bridget gasped but muted. I had to tell. I had to be the English CC translator on that one. As Bridget mutes her mic again after deliciously laughing.
I was
Dave continues to
interested.
speak. Oh, now he's
Yeah.
interrupted.
Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt you, because you're doing some sort of weird fever dream thing. So I was mainly interested in the title sequence for the wind turbine destruction.
You
'Cause
caught
then
it,
it,
and you're like,
like-
no.
Yeah, and you're like, and then it was not applicable at all. So I was like, interesting. And then
Is it,
all I
though?
could
No?
think of was how when they first started putting those up, do you remember people were like, it's killing birds. Also, it's randomly shocking the ground every once in a while. Do you remember that?
Turns
That
out
was
it was
like-
true, by the way.
So that's all I could think of when I
By the
saw
way.
it broken
I
down.
didn't know
I'm
that,
like,
but it was
I'm like,
true.
well, thank God it's not just randomly shocking the ground anymore, I guess.
I know what's shocking the ground, but I know that apparently it was killing migratory birds. It's really weird. They have a specific flight path. Sylvia Plath. They have a specific flight path, and people did not think about that when they erected these things. It's really bizarre. Again, I hate being right about some things. I don't care. Let's move on. But what I took from that is the folly of man, because what we're discovering now is that wind turbines are really expensive wind turbines are really expensive to make in the way that we make them currently, and you can see in only a short period of time they're just completely demolished. You have some of them fell off. So they're practically disconnected from their motors. It's really bizarre in just such a short period of time. It's already happening here in the here times.
There's
Saltwater's eating the plexiglass
there's some really interesting
because they're usually
language
offshore.
in the novel about how, like, Ish goes to do something, and he goes to fill his tire with air, and the automatic air pump runs, and he talks about how long will this go on for? Like, how long will man's, like, the automation of things last, and when will the power go dry, essentially, which is an interesting question to pose. And it's not really discussed much because they just moved over to solar power, so we don't really have to think about it a ton.
Right.
But
Well, you can find
Ezra
out
d-
about that if you watch the show Life After People, because they
Mm.
pretty much show you what would happen. And the most devastating thing would be that all the nuclear power plants would melt down and everybody would be
Right.
irradiated anyway. So,
And Bridget, where did we learn that from? Last Man on Earth, if you got far enough, by the way.
we did. Well, where did they move to again?
Some
They,
people
like,
didn't get
moved
that
to
part.
They moved to that place in Mexico. I can't remember where it was.
Zihuatanejo, because of what was it again? Shawshank Redemption, I think it was. I want
Yes,
to vote
that's it. That's it.
Zihuatanejo. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Morgan Freeman's character. That turned out to be really scary.
I love how everything
Anyway.
that they do is based on Shawshank Redemption in that show for some reason. Like, all of their major
It's just a
decisions
gag
are
that
made
keeps
that
running.
way. I love it.
Yeah, it's like Dave killing a joke, except they don't kill it.
They do it well.
They just unlike Ezra, who in this episode, just to kind of highlight the point, he's like, yes, we're scavenging at Gail's discount food mart thing. Which goes to your point, eventually this is not going to be even, we just talked about this on the Walking Dead episodes we covered. Even canned foods will explode because of water and vinegars and oils, and they'll get bad, and
Yes.
it's
Now,
not good for you. And
yeah.
seepage.
Now, people who prep will tell you that you can eat them well beyond the years listed on the can.
Thanks,
because
Pepper Bridget.
push comes to shove, you're gonna eat it if it's that or you starve. You'll give it a
I'm
shot.
learning so much today.
You'll give it a shot.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And that is true
Starve or
about
dysentery.
it's true about a lot of foods. Now, granted, there's a pretty large production in the United States of foods that are shelf stable for up to 30 years. So there would be an option to
There's an
find
industry
food.
now.
I would, if ever the world were to end, I would highly suggest you look for a Restaurant Depot.
Right, I get you. Because a lot of that's freeze dried, so that will keep
Freeze dried.
And also, if
powdered eggs,
and if you refrigerate that,
yeah, but even those stores, they will carry things that have a shelf life of up to 30 years because people are designing these foods to be shelf stable for that long. Not for like the average kitchen. They're more expensive because it is for people who prep, but they tend to be carried at places like Restaurant Depots, which is just a fun fact.
right, which you can get all your utensils and stuff for restaurants, but you can also get these kinds of foods at a much better discounted rate.
Yeah, it's actually one of those things that people are like, oh, they wouldn't think to check there because it doesn't seem like it would carry food. It would just be restaurant supplies. But
right,
they do carry like they're referred to as a 10 can, not a tin can, but a 10 can. Because
it's 10
it's
gallon sort of thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought I was going to take a stab at that.
I can't remember why it's called a 10 can. It can't be fluid ounces because it's so much bigger than that.
All right.
I'll find out.
Well, that's why I said, yeah.
By the way, they're quite large. They're large cans of food.
Like drums? She's going to look it up now. Here we go. Well, we're alive, so we can't just do that. Okay, so you'll bring it up.
2.8 liters of food is what it holds.
2.8 liters, that's roughly a gallon. Well, it's under a gallon, but still. There you go. Okay, cool. Which is still
It's just
like
a
yay big.
size designation, so it's a number 10 can is like the size of the can.
Its
So
own
anyway,
unit, basically,
yeah,
of measurement.
but about
Gotcha.
2.8 liters of food. So yeah, about a gallon. So they're quite large. It's not a drum. It's not what what you were talking about, Dave. I think you were picturing something quite like really large. But if
It's
you
more like a
ever
jug.
worked in a restaurant, you've seen think Carl's pudding.
And 144 fluid ounces.
That's like a 10. It's like a 10
I think it
can
is.
of pudding.
Or is that 112? I think it's 112. You said, right? What is the exact? Oh, I'm a terrible Walking Dead.
That was
fan.
112 ounces of pudding.
Ah, I got it. I got it in the end. Nice. I still got it, everybody. Fever Brain for the win. Okay, so one little detail that's just worth mentioning, and then just throwing it away. Ash. Did you hear what I just said? I said Ash. Ish gives Evie an apple. Evie, like Eve from the Garden of Eden. All right, we got that. Third thing, I don't know, third or second thing, when Maureen was laundering her clothes and hanging it up, she has little apples on her shirt. I don't know if you caught that. That is a little cute little thing. Cute.
I did not catch that.
Not worth. Yeah, I did not catch much because freezing inside my body. Anyway. Okay. Now to the slightly harder part. The Evie's condition, which I thought, Bridget, at least you might have something to say about, because it involves our favorite word, the T word. But also maybe a couple of other things, being nonverbal, the petting of the hair. What did you think was going on there with Maureen and at least Evie at first?
Yeah, I thought the hair was interesting. It was like an interesting move on Maureen's part, I thought.
Total show don't tell.
Yeah, yeah. Now when we see the conversation between Jorge and Ish, and they talk about all the symptoms, I mean, honestly, autism spectrum is immediately what I thought of. When they started talking, like just the nonverbal, the screaming. Now, to be fair, could be very heavily linked to trauma.
Right. Or all of the above.
Yeah, I mean, there was just a slew of things that we got about this poor girl and what she had been through so far. Her mother passed. She was with her dad, who was abusive. Based on what we see where she was living, I am not sure what happened. It's like there were cigarettes put out everywhere. She clearly had cigarette burns on her body, as did Maureen. So there was a level of bonding there because Maureen obviously strongly identifies with Evie. She wouldn't talk about it, but we can guess that she went through a similar experience as a child. I couldn't, so and forgive me if I just didn't pick up on this, but I could not tell. So like, did the dad die? I was confused as to what happened there.
So if you're really quick and you catch one of the drawings, you can see the only male figure that we are currently aware of is the dad. And one of the pictures is of the top half of his face being torn off. It's just the jaw.
Okay.
It's not gory or anything.
No, it's not. And I could see it. It was like a hollowed out head. You could just see it was just like around here. And I was wondering what that was about.
Yeah, if I had to take a guess, I have two theories, one of which is ridiculous. So I'm going to give you that one first because I love you guys and you need to laugh. It was the mountain lion. That's the ridiculous one. It was protecting her and it was going after her at the end. That's the ridiculous one. I'm not holding to that one. That's fine. But it could have also been, well, what do people often do in movies at the very least? I'm not very familiar with this, or otherwise I don't even know if I'd be able to do this podcast. But, you stick a type of shotgun in your mouth and aim upwards. And that's something that could happen if it's powerful enough and the gauge is just right.
At first I had wondered if like she had been taken
There's a
or
bonus to this,
given
by the way.
to somebody else was also my concern. That there was some other sort of abuse that was occurring.
Oh gosh,
It was
I
hard to
don't
say
see- I
because
don't
it's
know that
really hard to
there's
say when we don't get a ton of details. So it's like you're just given what you see, and all you know is that it's not a good situation, and you don't know the details of it, and she can't tell you.
You know what's interesting though is there is a lot of show don't tell, an extreme version of show don't tell, because you can piece together a couple of things. One is there's only one grave. So you're forced to think it's either the mom or the dad. And I think the assumption by the folks at home is that she buried the mom because she said she was dying. And here we are. And the dad must be out there somewhere because he certainly isn't in the cabin, which is why they thought, oh, somebody's coming to get Evie finally after a year.
Yeah, I
Which
know.
is feasible.
I had wondered if there was gonna, if he was gonna show up or something, but then I was like, I don't know, is he like a drunk? Because then maybe he doesn't even have the wherewithal to figure out where she had been.
Well, maybe it is both the mountain lion and the shotgun to the upper palate. Could be both.
Or
Lion
did
got
she
his
defend
fill.
herself?
Oh, yeah. Well, then, yeah. Where's the body? Is it just thrown out there, and the lion knew where to go, and that's why it was there for food?
Maybe.
Interesting. And you know what? Maybe that story is not quite over yet, or something. I mean, obviously, the story's not over with Ish being mauled quite nearly to death. But yeah, maybe there is more to this story. Unfortunately, maybe Ezra was the dad. Just kidding. I have no idea. I would hate that for everybody, including
I
me.
really would hate
That would
that
be
because
too much.
I actually really like Ezra.
I'm hesitant to say that I do because I hate in others what I hate in myself, and I know how to kill a joke, and I don't want to be identified. I am the Ezra. I know that. I know that deep in my bones.
I liked him. I thought he was fun.
So while we're here, total dumbass moment is going to happen right now. I did not get his joke that he told by the fire. I didn't. I didn't, and I would
It was
really.
so funny. Are
I
you
tried.
serious? Okay, Dave. Let
Really?
me explain it. Let me
Didn't get
explain it. Let me
Really?
explain it.
Please explain.
Let
it
me
to
explain
me.
it.
Yeah, I get one too.
In-
I get one too.
In a pill bottle.
I'm Rachel today. I've always
a
wanted
pill
to
bottle.
be Rachel.
In a pill bottle, when you open it and it's brand new, there's a cotton ball in the top. So
Okay.
he was saying, why then, when you open a bag of cotton balls, is there not a pill in the top?
Right, exactly. I got it.
It's dumb. It's a bad joke.
So bad. It was so bad that I could not possibly get it.
You were like, it
Don't-
can't simply be that.
Don't
get-
blame
oh my
your
God, I
lack
get
of
it now.
comprehension on his bad joke.
Here's the thing. I didn't even get it immediately after you explained it. Do you understand what I'm? Because
Yeah, I saw you. Just
Now
your
I
eyes lit up, and you're like, now I get it.
my eyes
Yeah.
lit up, and all of a sudden I came online. The robot suit is activated, and so what you're saying is, just like in a pill bottle, there's one cotton swab on top hole to get in, holding on the pills and preventing it from jingling. So too should there be one big giant pill for the cotton balls to be tamped down.
Obviously, Dave,
It was layers of dumb.
it's bad.
It was
It's a really bad
layers.
joke.
It's
It's why-
so. I mean,
It's why
I
I
see
loved
it now.
Ish's response where he's like, I thought that was the lead up. What's the punchline? It was so good. I was
so
like,
now
yeah,
you're saying
dude,
I'm
that
an
was rough.
ish.
It
Now you're
was a
saying I'm
rough
an
joke.
ish.
No, because even
Yeah, it's
you
pretty
didn't.
rough.
You didn't even get it eventually, Dave.
He didn't get it mostly. I don't want to be. I like his body, but I don't. It's fine. It's cool. We can move on. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody, it's fine. Why don't we move on already? Gosh, love that we can't edit any of this out. It's great.
It's
I'm
awkward
having
that you
fun.
keep
Are
talking
guys
about
having
it.
Fun?
It's fine.
Washboard abs. Yeah, even at 41, which he is by the end of this episode.
Oh, I thought you meant in real life. I was like, that guy's 41. There's no way.
That baby is still 27. God, are you kidding me? That Canadian hottie with a body. Had to complete the circle. had to actually add another circle to the infinity symbol I just created. Anyway, what else? I'm sure there's stuff that you guys wanted to talk about, even if you didn't like the episode, Sharon D.
Not really.
Oh,
okay.
well, I was quite. Here's the
Just
thing.
came on to say how bad it was.
Yeah, I guess. Here's the thing.
I came on to push
Oh,
the raffle.
That's fair.
Fair.
And
Fair.
good
And
call.
also
see
to say
you
goodbye.
and
For
see
good
you beautiful people. I came
I-
on for you guys.
I feel bad because we had people in our chat last week and all of us were like, except for Dave, were like really poo-pooing on this. And now I'm like, yeah, I changed my mind. I like it now. And everyone's like, Psh, I don't want to listen to their podcast. They just
Well,
complain about everything.
we just cross over to 9:00, and that's when people all of a sudden the zombies rise from their grave, and then that's when they come into the chat. Oh, look at nobody's there. It's
I
fine.
wish.
It's fine.
Anyway, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed
Hey,
it
same
this time.
here.
I really enjoyed it. And I was on the cusp and I was like, if this next episode doesn't have a lot happen, then I might just need to be done with it. But on the other side of
Oh.
the coin, I was also like, but I'm willing to listen to the audiobook and see what the difference is, and maybe that'll be enough of a drive to keep me going. Now the book has been fairly interesting, just because it's a traditional narrative. He didn't do any of the new like literary things for that, but he really like it. It's written like prose. If that makes sense. There's like kind of these like long winding sentences where it's describing like what's happening. Like at one point, Ish is sitting on the porch at his parents' house, and he can see a sign that's like an advertisement, and it's saying like drink something, but he can't see what the something says. He can just see the drink, and it keeps flashing. And so like in the story, he sees it and it's like drink black, drink black, drink black, and it says that like in
So the other part of the neon
in
sign
text.
isn't.
So we'll know that it's like flashing. So it's like on and then it's off,
Oh.
and it's on and it's off. And so that has been really interesting to me. I'm a big lover of prose. I know, because you tell. Probably not. I'm a big lover
No,
of
I mean every
prose and
time I get
poetry.
prolific, you're like, Dave, please stop. It's cringe.
And
Just 'cause you
so
hate me, I think.
I guess so. So I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. So that was kind of enough of a driving force for me to be like, all right, everybody else is gonna bail. You know, Sharon D isn't really liking it. I don't know that Rachel's gonna stick in. Like, but
This is
Dave
kinda
said
like
he
your jam.
Dave said he wanted to watch the whole thing. So I'll stick in with Dave and we'll get through the next couple episodes, and it's not that long. Like we'll get through it. But now now I was
Mauled
like,
by a mountain
yes.
lion.
Well, it's just like I understand. It was shocking. It was shocking. It's a shocking scene. It's really intense. I mean, I cried when Lucky died. I'm talking like full tears. Now, granted, Frankie's like under the bed because she loves to be under the bed if I'm in the bed. She likes to be as close to me as physically possible, and we won't let her on the bed anymore. So she's literally just sleeping right beneath me. That's her spot. And so I almost let her into the bed, which my husband would have killed me.
A fit, yep.
he
Are you
would've
guys
been
watching
like,
together? Is that what's happening?
No, actually,
Or-
he's lost interest.
Okay.
But
Oh.
and he lost interest in Silo also, which was a little bit disappointing. But I know, it's sad.
Tell him I'm disappointed.
But I almost was like, I started crying, and immediately I was like, Frankie, like I like wanted her to like be close to me because I felt so
totally
sad
get
about
that.
it.
I almost got up and went in the bedroom and got Otto out of the bed and to hold him.
I know.
I think
It
it's
was
adorable.
hard. It was hard to watch.
So he says, as Emma and he, but mostly he because of his strong body, are carrying Lucky away, he says he cries into his fur, "You were my best friend." And the very next day, Ish picks up another best friend in Jorge. He says out loud, "Well, process of elimination, can't say it's my wife." And Ezra's an ass. So hey, there you go.
You're stuck with me.
Lucky's
You're my
dead.
best friend.
You're stuck with me, baby. And you could see that coming. I kind of enjoyed that.
I
They had
did
a good
too.
rapport, banter.
Well, and it was kind of you don't truly know how much time passed in that because we didn't get like a
Well, they're obviously
sequence, but
rebuilding, but maybe you're right.
it just means that not a year has passed, so we don't know how much time
Right.
goes in that. But as you know, like when a pet passes, It is really hard. It's
Oh,
super hard. And I'm not saying
I'm
that it's
learning now.
ever I'm not saying that it's ever not hard, because it is. And like I still think about my dog that I had to put down when I moved down here. Um and I still think about her. And like she was not a good dog. Like she had a lot wrong with her. She was like she had been abused as a puppy, and so she was very
Oh,
aggressive. And so she was actually quite dangerous for a lot of people to be around. She bit people, and like
including
the
you?
city was called. It was like a whole thing.
Oh.
And it wasn't due to lack of training. Like she was a very good dog. It's just that she really was not okay after what had happened to her as a puppy. And I still think about her now. And that was, gosh, 7 years ago. And I still think about her. So it never goes away. But it's interesting because it's a pet. And so like the sadness that you hold kind of in your day-to-day life can kind of start to subside. And so I thought that was a really good example of like kind of coming out of the fog of grief, and how like day to
Oh, I
day,
see what you're
the
saying.
day to day still has to happen. And, it was just kind of like it was a device to show you that he was moving on with life, even though Lucky had been like his first friend in this world.
Best friend, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know what's interesting is that he mentions at the campfire how he was longing for that time in the cabin, trying to get away from society because it was starting to get a little noisy. And
Yeah.
who could not see the symmetry between he and Evie in that moment? It's too
Yeah.
noisy. You don't see her at
Oh,
all,
dude,
until the
stop
very
having
end.
so many daggone babies, and there won't be so many freaking people around. That's all I gotta say.
In case
I could not
you're
live there
watching.
because there were like 17 children in there. There's no way. I would be like, no, I'm out. I'm gonna go live in the
Just,
cabin.
you live down the block, you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
it's in my
fine.
wheelhouse. I'd be like so
I can see-
excited.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Here's
that's
the thing I can
that's
see.
you. I'd be like, no.
I'm like,
Here's,
the
here's what I
houses
can
are
see.
full. I'm so happy. They're full.
Oh, I'm with
All right,
Ish.
even
Take me back to the cabin. Give me some solitude.
Right. So to close the loop on that, it's almost as though Lucky was his excuse to continue holding on to what was, in a way. Even though he says out loud, it's all about beginnings. He's saying what Emma says, basically. Basically. He's trying to, was it a fake it till he makes it sort of situation? He knows she's right, but he didn't really feel it until he lost Lucky, and then
yeah.
he finally has a best friend in probably a world where I'm gonna guess he never really had one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
Um,
Books were his solitude. It was his thing. Connection really wasn't his thing.
yeah.
Rocks, come on. Bro.
What's cool? What's really cool about that too is that Joseph, Joey,
JoJo,
their youngest, Jojo, ends up being the one that he brings to the library after that, which it was always Lucky. It was never anybody else. It was not ever a person. It was always Lucky. And now that
good
Lucky's
spot.
gone, it's like it's forced him to turn to his family and really connect with other people.
Yeah, it's as though he. Remember when?
Based
go ahead.
on the narration in the book, Ish is an only child. His parents.
Yep.
His father
Checks
was
out.
a history teacher, and because of the time frame, mom is a stay-at-home mom, and because it was written in the 1950s, so that was 1940s, so that was common at the time. And their hopes and dreams are that Ish will be like bigger and better and brighter than they were, and so they really push him for like academic pursuits. And so that's why he's so like studious, and he's like, they characterize him as like a really good student. So like Jojo is Ish.
But with
Jojo
Emma's
is like
instincts,
the one who like kind of takes after him, because he's the one who's like really interested in reading and excited to be at the library and excited to see how the world used to be and feel that connection to like the past, but through books.
Right. But contrary even to Ish, because Ish's academic pursuits, let's just say, were limited to how does this work? How does that work? How do you do this? How do you do that? Joey is all about, well, why did we do this? What's the significance? He's like Squawking Dead. He looks at, well, why look this up if we don't know the context? I can't believe these things were real. He wonders why things were the way they were and how exciting they seem to be, because at the end, when he's playing with Evie in the park, he's going vroom, vroom, vroom when they're really, where's the vroom, 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 everybody? Where is it? There's no vroom, vroom. There's more like, let's go drive really slowly so we won't hit another mountain lion. Goodness gracious. That's all I'm trying to say. But I'm glad you brought this up, because and we could even leave it here after this, because the one thing that was really, I liked it that it was mentioned after Joey was born. It was the transition between, I think it was, oh my gosh, I have my hands in my sleeves and I locked them in. But it was the transition between
Chinese
year
finger
7 and year
trap
8
situation there, dude.
I know. Well, I needed the warmth. Yeah, I think it was the transition between year 7 and year 8 after Joey was born. And he has that monologue, and he had many that transitioned with a monologue. But this one was the Kenneth Koch quote that, by the way, he exists. I know that, but you cannot find this quote anywhere. And so what's interesting about that is that only a book person would have been able to find it. I thought that was kind of fascinating, because I liked this quote, and he mentions this to Ezra in the store, the discount food store. He says it's fear that your parents that you inherit from your parents, and it's the best teacher. I say this because, let me just read the whole quote and then we can get into this more. Hey Lois, we're live now.
Lois!
So in case you're wondering,
Hey Lois!
we're talking about Earth Abides. And I need to, okay, here we go. Ish's monologue takes us to the next scene. Later that night after the raid, Gene's playing Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. Wait, no, wait. Which I want to touch on at some point. Okay. No, I'm sorry. This is not right. Is that not right? I'm so sorry, guys. When is Joey born? Jeez Louise. Okay, yes, that's right. Okay, here we go. He says to Joey and the bedside, I'm going to tell you everything tonight that I'm afraid of. Everything you're going to defeat. This is something like you said about his parents telling him to get educational pursuits, to be better than them. It saved my life one night 1,000 years ago, but this is the thing I'm surest of. Joey, you're going to teach me more than all those things I've learned so far, and I will never let you down. Now, this is two halves of a whole. The first part is what he says to Ezra earlier on, and the second half is probably the end of, second half is everything after the episode. It seems like his narrations are for his children when he is left behind. He is making the book for them to read about him, not about facts, not about how things work, not about how things were, but about their father. And because, well, he's currently mauled. And so, like you said, maybe he doesn't have too much longer in this world. So I needed to piece that together a little bit, because I'm still not quite 100% certain what he means by, I learned that lesson 1,000 years ago. I have an inkling of what he means.
What? Can you give me the quote again, Dave?
Sure, I'll give it to you again. And he says, I'm gonna warn you about how disappointed you'll be. Oh, I didn't give you the whole quote. I'm sorry. I'm gonna warn you about how disappointed you'll be. And I thought he was talking to us, by the way, which he usually is. It feels like, at least. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean by that? But how disappointment is the only. But now disappointment is the only train hiding the train of joy and wonder that is on its way. That's the quote from Kenneth Koch.
Okay.
And then he says after that, it saved my life one night 1,000 years ago, but this is the thing I'm surest of, Joey. You're going to teach me more than all the things I've learned so far, and I'll never let you down. Not ever, or something he says.
So I had assumed that the 1,000 years ago is referring to what feels like 1,000 years ago, which is his lowest moments right after the fall of humanity. And that he's referring to the fact that in all of the disappointment that he felt over his parents' death, over there not being anyone around, after over going to Vegas and finding out that there was nothing out there in the world for him, that through all of that led to the life that he has now, which is so full And I don't think he could ever imagine a life this full of people and of love and family and connection for someone who really would not have pursued that normally. This was kind of like thrust upon him in a way, right? He ran into Emma, and then Emma's the kind of person who really wants a community. So then she painted the sign and she left the sign up even though it really pissed him off. And so
Unilaterally.
now all these years later, now they're getting more people showing up. Ezra and I can't remember the other two's
Oh,
name.
Ezra, Jean, and Molly.
Thank
and Rafe,
you.
and Little Rafe. Yeah.
And Rafe. And as it
Want
turns
to go
out,
into Game of Thrones after this?
and as it turns out,
Names.
after that, they're they're not bad people. They live a little bit of a different life, sure. I mean, they were
Oh,
music.
boy, do they ever.
Yeah, I know. They have
Can we
like
touch on that one piece?
they have a throuple. They have a throuple.
Yeah.
They're part of
Polyamory.
they're
Weird.
part of a polyamorous relationship.
And here's the thing. I say weird because it kind of surprised me that hadn't happened sooner. Let's say with Ish, Emma, Jorge, and Maureen, because they're
Who said
kinda
it didn't?
into repopulation.
Who said it didn't?
Clearly from Emma's end.
Well, yeah, there'd be you wouldn't want to mix the gene pool too much, so there would be some.
Well, right, because you want to
Yeah.
have variety in the gene pool. If you're trying to repopulate the Earth, you can't have everybody intermarry too much because then you'll be
correct.
doing bad things genetically. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about
Yeah,
that too
it's a
because they're
mixed bag.
obviously matching up Rafe and whatever the little girl
Heather.
I mean, so they're obviously matching those two up. Well, then that takes I was trying to run the genetics through my head while I was
numbers.
watching it, and I was like, they're gonna have to get more people in because even that is not going to be enough to properly divide the gene pool
Repopulate,
enough.
quote unquote. Right. Right. And there's also like the proper kind of gene pool because not all genetics mix well too. Talking predisposed genetic diseases and stuff like that. So there's arguments on either side of what to do, right?
It's
Ideally
interesting.
on paper it works.
Some of the information we received
not
too via
all
this
the time.
episode is that Molly and Jean and Ezra and Rafe were part of another community as well. So there are other little pockets of people we could assume are throughout the United States. Now their
It's gonna
community
be like vaults.
yeah,
It's gonna
Not
be like
anymore.
vaults. You gotta
their
interchange
community
'em.
their community fell ill to a flu. And so all of those people ended up passing away, unfortunately. But
Like the plague. Yep.
but you would assume that there's some other pockets probably. I mean, yeah, Emma came from very far away, but we don't really know much about what's going on the East Coast because they're so far
Yeah.
away from it.
Oh, true. Yeah. And people are traveling from quite a distance, but who
Yeah.
knows? And why?
Well, and you have to
it's like the
assume,
stand.
like-
Why do they know to come here?
Yeah, are there people in are there people in Mexico? Are there people in Canada? Are there and if you found a place that worked and was comfortable for you, why would you travel beyond that? If you found like other people in that area, that would you would kind of land there.
You'd have no reason to go. It's kind of like
Well,
what
and
Ish was doing in the
traveling
first
becomes
episode.
dangerous.
And hardship. Sure. And
Yeah.
people, it's like what you said from the beginning about that Moses Schellenberger is that,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the danger is how many people made it on the Oregon Trail? Not many.
Yeah.
Swaths of people died on the Oregon Trail. Anywho, I just lost it. I lost
From
something because I
dysentery.
wanted to-
It's true. That's how I always
Clearly.
died.
from the video game. Yeah.
But let it be known that more people made it on the Oregon Trail than died.
Oh, really?
On the Oregon Trail.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, by far. I mean, it was a high death
Oh.
toll, but it wasn't like
That's
it
what I
wasn't
meant.
even like a quarter. It wasn't even like a quarter of the people
Well,
that took
this
the Oregon
wasn't-
Trail. It wasn't nothing like that.
And also, this wasn't the Oregon Trail. It's not like that was 100% what it was. It was a wagon trail
Right.
to California. Before those trails even existed is when this occurred.
Right. They were
This
making
is
the
like-
trail as they went.
They were making trails at this time.
So funny how life works. How we instinctually create the roads that we will pave and drive over in the future.
Well,
or
I
fly
think
over. Who
some
knows?
of it was trial and error,
Chaos
right? Like
theory.
some people never made it, and so you
Mhm.
didn't try that trail again. You try a different way.
Like the
Yeah.
Donner
But we never-
Pass.
Mm.
Which, by the way, Donner the reindeer is not a Christmas name. Donner the reindeer was not named after the Donner Pass.
No, as I heard recently, right? It was named after the serial killer. But anywho, we didn't close the book on
the what?
On Evie.
It was named after the what? Wait a minute. Back up, Dave. It was named after the
serial
what?
Killer? Oh, no, it's Dahmer.
Are you okay?
With Dahmer.
The Dahmer Pass.
No, there is another. Isn't it named after a murderer though?
No,
Donner
it was
Party?
named after a
No,
group of a wagon train that got stuck in the mountains, and most of them died, and they ended up resorting to cannibalism.
Each other.
The Donner Party.
Cannibalism.
Yeah.
See, there we go. That's the reference. The eating each other. Yes, that's same principle.
Okay, I think we might need to wrap
Wrong
this
reference.
up purely because Dave is not okay.
Yes, Dave's having
Well,
a problem. Dave, you need to get some rest.
We never closed. We never closed the book on Evie when it came to her condition, and I think really between the petting of the hair and not wanting to be touched, I think there's a buffet here of what is a proper word for it, Bridget? Educator
Well,
Bridget.
what I always say, this is my firm belief about this, is that
Unfortunately.
because autism is a spectrum, is that everyone is somewhere on that spectrum. That is my belief. I think everybody's got their quirk, and I think that could be defined as something somewhere on the autism spectrum. So
it's neurotypical.
Yeah,
neuroatypical.
well,
Is
because
that
like
right?
I
Yeah,
think
that's
of
right.
things
So I
like
figured it out.
ADHD, ADD, any of those kind of things that cause some neurodivergence that results in like,
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the details, but anyway, so my argument would be doesn't matter because everyone is somewhere on that spectrum.
No, it doesn't. I think I was just pointing out that it's interesting it'd be interesting to note that it's not just trauma, or I don't know. I don't know if there's a stress induced.
It could be a mix of things. The not willing to speak, it's either nonverbal from autism, from a more severe case, or it is a trauma response.
Well, I just meant the hair petting thing about the tactic. She does the same thing with the bath bomb in the bath.
Now,
She holds
I
it,
don't know
grips it,
because
she feels the fizziness of it.
Yeah, but that's also like sensory seeking, and sensory seeking can be like totally normal kids that just really struggle with sensory processing, or which can be considered a form of neurodivergence. Honestly,
but you wouldn't
for someone who's never experienced that. Yeah, I mean, clearly they're trying to paint a story with this. Yeah, obviously.
Without telling you. Yeah. Which again, to your point, doesn't really matter. It's not the crux of it. It's a little bit of it, but they want to say it without having to hit you over the head with it. Hey,
yeah.
Did you get it? Right? They don't want to do that. And to their credit, I think it worked. I think it actually worked.
They say it. They say it the once, but that's it. Like they don't bring it up again. So they kind of leave it up to you, like it's that or trauma, and then they kind of leave it up to you to decide what you think really it is.
And I also think it gives folks who are or have children with a neurodivergence, they're like, oh, I see myself in this show, and you know what? I'm here for it. I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that, actually.
I mean, this is the kind of like inclusion that occurs that I'm happy with, because I think it, for kids who are going through that, I think it's really great for them to be able to see something in themselves in television and movies.
And a decent.
I mean, that's what we all want, like, right? As I grew up as a redheaded kid, like the Little Mermaid, the original from the 80s, was my jam because that was me. Was it me? No. Am I a mermaid? No. That wasn't me at all. But I saw
precisely why it's precisely why I identified with the hippo in Fantasia.
Oh. That's cute.
She was
sweetie, though.
She was dancing and happy. Though.
That's cute. I like that.
I identify with those racist images. She was
dancing and happy.
Magazines.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's dumb.
Like Dave.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't hear that.
Dave. I hate you.
Dave, wrap this up and open the present I sent you.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't have the energy for it.
Oh, man.
Did you even eat dinner, dude?
One more thing. No, I have not.
Oh my god.
I'm starving.
He's got to go.
Isn't that the thing? What you have to do, right?
Feed a cold, starve of fever. I don't know what
It's
they're saying.
starve a cold. It's starve a cold, feed a fever.
Oh, see, there you go,
Oh,
you
then I did
idiot. You're doing it backwards.
wrong. I don't think I have a fever. I just have the chills. You know, weakness
That's
in the arms and
often the
legs. Oh, I
fever.
have COVID.
Dave.
Yes,
Oh, maybe.
chills come from fever. So
Oh, well then. I'm glad we sorted out the cotton ball joke because that's really bothering. I let it go because I know one of you would be able to explain it to me.
Oh,
I'm
Dave.
just really happy I have you as friends
Dave.
and the friends we met along the way.
Go to bed, Dave. Lois got COVID right now, Lois?
Everybody,
or just in general?
like a form of it. Again,
I've had it
viruses
like
mutate,
I've
they become
had it
weaker.
like 4 times.
This would be my second time only.
I've had it so many times. It's fine.
It's worth noting
I
that
possibly
because
had it
of
once, but not verified.
oh, I see.
Possibly.
It's also worth noting that because of Evie, I guess, and I can't remember the exact moment that they decide to do this. I know it was around the time Maureen and Jorge end up having their child because this is after the campfire. That's right. After the And What a Wonderful World, right? We should touch on that one thing and maybe we can go. But I was very heartened to see that it's kind of like the Walking Dead universe enables you to do the thing you were meant to be. That was
this
what it was for
episode
her.
more. I think suddenly bringing in these new characters and giving us this concept of like these broken people just trying to make it. I was like, this is what I was missing. This is what I was missing, was allowing, like, 1, the action, 2, this like deep emotional stuff, because like there was emotional stuff, but a lot of it was just more about like getting to know each other than it was about like, these are the hard things that we're dealing with. Like, I don't want to be a mother again. I don't want to do this. Stuff like that.
I don't
is
have
like
kids because I don't want to raise kids in that world that I was brought up in.
Yeah. Just, that was giving me, I think, what I was very much missing in this series. So I'm really excited. Plus then the major action and the cliffhanger really hooked me. This whole episode was just so different than what we've seen.
And I think in a way, I'm sorry. I think in a way, it's a little bit even more relatable than the Walking Dead universe because, zombies, really? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But for many people who suffer trauma, neurotypical disorders, etc., I mean, come on. It hits you where it hurts, keeps you there. And for a year that they had Evie to raise her and feed her and give her to say yes to, which... that mom's letter, say yes. Whereas the world was her no. The world before was her no. I need you to be her yes.
What I loved about that too was that Maureen read it, and clearly Maureen had the real connection with Evie, but they all said yes to her because it wasn't about.
She did.
Well, it just wasn't about. It wasn't about. Well, I mean, Ish brought her there, and Jorge's gonna say yes because he's just like the world's sweetest man.
What a marshmallow! I love him.
I loved him. I love him so much. What was so beautiful about that is that you're not just getting like, well, I'm saying yes, so I'm raising her, so don't worry about it. It's this agreement. We are a community. We do everything together. We make our decisions collectively, and so that was really beautiful to see.
Yes,
because we missed the introduction. We missed the introduction of Maureen and Jorge. We don't know. Was Jorge the legs that we saw at the end of the previous episode? Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not. You're right. And thank you, Lois. I hope I feel better too, because my wife is sick too. And
I hope you feel better, Lois. She's got COVID right now.
Oh, I must have missed that really quick.
Oh,
right. Read it and I forgot it.
Sorry, Lois.
That's where I'm at right now.
Sorry, Lois. Hope you feel better.
I hope you're riding it well. I think most people are, but it still sucks.
It doesn't feel good. It's the worst.
Feel better soon. Yeah. But yes, I just want to mention one more thing about that. It's good because being there for her and healing her, helping her acclimate to a world where they say yes, in turn healed Maureen, and she even says to him, I didn't even think I would be here. I didn't think I'd live in a world where I'd be an adult, is kind of, I think, what she's sort of saying. Or even have this option or choice for that to be a reality for me. And here I am. I met this guy who saved me. I mean, more on the metaphorical scale than the literal scale. And then here it is, the daughter that I never thought I could have, and now I want to have more. And I never saw a world in which that could happen until this came into my life, and it's kind of like a miracle.
Yeah.
So in a way, she too is like Ish, that she wrote off. Ish writes off people. She wrote off a possibility of an offspring, and they both let the world heal them or change their mind. And maybe that is the answer to the quote. I disappointed myself for so long with this idea. And don't we all do that? Don't we all have these convictions?
Oh yeah,
that we hold on to?
My life is going to go this way and it's going to look like this, and then when it doesn't, you feel so overwhelmed with disappointment. Like, I can't tell you how many times I thought, yeah, like I thought I was going to get married at like 25. Could 25-year-old Bridget have made a marriage work? No,
Sure.
not at all.
Why not?
She was not okay mentally or emotionally, or she needed a lot of therapy.
She needed to reprioritize.
There were things I thought I would already have kids. I thought I would be a mom already, and I'm not. And I wish I'd gone to college right away after high school instead of waiting 5 years and working at crappy diners. There's like, of course, there's like always these things about your life that you're like, I wish this had gone differently. But where you are now is exactly where you were supposed to be. That's the belief I have. So arguably, it's exactly how it shook out, exactly how it was supposed to, even the parts that sucked. Because they help you grow. They help you become who you are now.
And that's interesting too, because then Gene is another perfect example of that, because I didn't have this when Rafe was born. And here I am flourishing now. I didn't think it could be this way. I did it already once. I don't want to ever do it again. Convince me otherwise, and it happened. It happened. I became your trampoline, Molly says. I actually thought, for a hot sec, by the way, that Ezra wasn't in after the next 7-year or 8-year time jump, I think it was, near the end. and I spotted him at the birthday party. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's fine. It's okay. Ezra's still here. Not that I would have been fine either way, because I don't want to see myself in this show. Not in this case. But I'm okay. I'm all right. He's all right. He's not that bad. I guess, like me, I'm not that bad. Right,
I liked
Lois?
him. I thought he was
If you're
fun.
alive. If you're alive, that's right. That's exactly, Lois. And if you're alive and kicking and listening or watching this, wherever you're watching this, what we'd really, really appreciate first is that you head to our Ko-fi page. It's ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Head to the pin post and check out our penny raffle for Herleen Relief, where we are giving you the opportunity with your donations to have a 10-minute live call with a person of interest. You bid towards that one person. Make sure you write their name down. You can do multiple bids for multiple persons, but don't mix them. Do separate bids for each person of interest. That would be very, very helpful, because then I don't have to contact you. So, and I really, really appreciate it if you share maybe that post, maybe pay close attention to our social media. Please enable notifications on your preferred one or all of them. I think that would be awesome. And this means that even if you cannot donate or throw your hat in the ring for a particular person of interest, you can at least reach people who can, so that we can get the relief for so we can get the relief we need from West North Carolina monetarily for both residents and their pets. We're doing our best, and we cannot do it without your help. Now, secondly, all the other things, remember to head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars and a doggy emoji is all we need to know that you love us. But tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't like. Tell us what you think we might have missed. Just remember to tell us after every single episode, because without you, we can't do anything. We can't do charities. We can't do giveaways. We can't do any of the cool things we want to do because we're too busy working or having fevers. But take your support a little further. Tip us on Ko-fi after December 23rd when we announce the winners, because I have to sort out your tips from actual donations. I'm willing to take that risk. But after December 23rd, tip us and you'll receive And actually, if you're donating, you will get Discord access forever anyway, like Leo did with his $50
Guys,
donation towards
join our
Antonella
Discord.
Rose.
I mean, for real, join our
Exactly.
Discord. It is fun. We've got some great memes. We have some good conversations. We've got a show us your pets thread. We've got some. Come and join us, guys. We're a lot of fun.
And some excellent
Don't
questions
take this-
too from Leo.
Don't take this as an example of what we're really like all the time.
It's not
Come
a
see us in
testimonial.
our
No,
other
we're usually
habitats.
much
That
more
would be
relaxed.
exhausting, honestly.
We're actually kind of cancelable. I mean, if you want to cancel us, tip us, and then you'll have instant Discord access. But take your support a little further. Join a membership tier for as little as $4 a month to join the Walkers tier, and you'll have more Discord access to our unedited episode recordings and my pre-squawk insights, which you will receive after this live stream. It's just my notes, and I think you'll find them interesting, especially the part where we didn't bring it up, which is Louis Armstrong's "It's a Wonderful World," which was written in Vietnam times in '67 to build bridges, not walls, with each other. I just brought it up. There we go. And if you happen to join the Whisperers, Survivors, and Great M tier, you'll receive a free classic t-shirt upon signing up. And joined the Survivors or Great M tier, you can show up on these episode breakdowns with us, with your face, head, mouth, mic, and headphones, breaking these episodes alongside us. And I've been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by
Blazy Gardner.
Wow, that was great.
And Bridget. You can find me at youtube.com/@PunkyBrewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETER. And you should do that because you should follow me. Because, like,
Yep.
I don't really do anything, but it'd be cool if you
I handed
if
out
you
your
did.
card yesterday, by the way.
What?
To
Guys,
somebody who is
check-
very into horror at the
Oh, thank you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Guys,
yeah.
go check out my feeds and you'll see some video of Western North Carolina that I've taken in my driving around and on the tour I took. So, and there's more to come.
from both Sharondy and myself at some point. I definitely will include some of those photos in the promos, so you will have a accurate window as to what we're dealing with, and not. I mean, we're not going to show the people, obviously, but we're going to show the devastation, and that, you know, what the news has stopped talking about it, so we are going to. And if you guys don't share this giveaway, nobody's going to hear about it, and I think people deserve to know, and people need to help. I think it would be great if they did. And
This is the season of
hopefully if
giving,
they-
guys. This is the season of
and
giving.
hopefully if they do, they'll get something back for it too. I
Yeah.
hope you do. And I look forward to next week's live stream on Earth Abides. I'm sad that Sharon D is going to leave us, but I think she'll still talk about it behind the scenes on our Discord. I believe is what's going to happen.
I might pop in just to say hi and stuff and
Mm.
push the raffle a little bit more, but I'm not going to watch the show anymore. So, but join us on
Right.
Discord because we got some cool memes and we got fun conversations going on. The more the merrier.
Yeah, like I
y'all
said before.
get in on it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a joy to be around all of you. And with that, everybody, catch us on the next episode breakdown of Silo's 6th episode. It's a second season titled, I don't know, who cares? It's fine. It's a great show. And that was just renewed. And I'll say this again when we break it down again. For its not only third season, it was renewed for a 4th season in the same breath. That's how good Silo is. It's picking up fervor, and hopefully they
Wow.
come through with that promise to give us screeners. Those sons of bitches.
Also,
Yeah, I
folks,
love 'em. It's
Get
fine.
caught up on seasons 1 and 2 of Dark Winds because we will be recapping those coming up very, very soon. Season 3 is coming up March 9th.
As long as we're telling secrets, right? It's fine.
We've
You have a
talked
fever
about it
brain, too.
before.
I know, you're right. You're right. I mean, if you were on a Discord, you probably would have found out anyway. You're good. You're
Yeah,
good. You're
get on
fine.
Discord.
It's great.
I
Zan
know I'm
McClendon.
fine.
That's right. You're fine. It's great, everybody. I love you guys.
Just
I'll
go
see
to
you very
bed.
soon. And everybody, have a good night and feel better. And Lois, thank you for joining us. I really missed
Good
you.
night.
Bye,
Ty talks
Lois.
about you incessantly.
Davis talked
Bye.
about you a lot.
Yes. All good.
So
And
thank
it's
you for showing up
Lois.
again because he was feeling
Yes.
some type
Yeah.
of way.
Yeah.
I
He
think
was
that's
like,
why I got
"Where's
sick, 'cause
Lois?"
Lois wasn't around. Yeah, I got really sick because Lois wasn't here. Just kidding.
He just blames
Bye.
everything on you, Lois. Okay, bye.
Good. There we go. Ah, Oh, I got caught. Okay. All right. Let's
Dave,
leave
I
our
hope you
things
feel
open,
better.
ladies. And...
Yeah.
Thank you. Me too. I need to take care of Evelyn. I'm not telling her I'm sick, so it's fine. Because I'm
Oh, that's sweet.
sucky McSuckface. Is it though? It's not right. I should tell her I'm sick. Anyway.
Then you could take care
Why?
of each other.
So then she can feel like she is obligated to take care of you because that's what would happen. So
But then you
No,
can
that's
take
not-
best you
care
don't
of
say
each
anything.
other. You can
but
take
it's
care of each
ideally-
other. It's all nice.
Check this out. Check this out. You missed this. I love you guys.
Aw.
Aww.
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 Should have. There you